The wind howled outside the cabin. Snow beat against the windows like angry hands. It was one of the coldest nights the man had seen in years. His name was Ray, a former soldier who had chosen to live alone in the mountains, far from the noise. Far from people, just the cold, the silence, and his tools. He was fixing an old radio when the knock came. It was soft at first, like a mistake. Then it came again, louder, sharper. Ray froze. No one ever came here. No one even knew he lived here. He stood up slowly, reached for the shotgun by the door. Another knock, then silence. He opened the door with caution. And there she was, a girl, maybe 16, maybe 17, wearing a thin dress, barefoot in the snow. Her skin was pale as ice, her lips blue, trembling. She didn't speak, she didn't cry, she only held up a small, crumpled piece of paper. Ray stared at her, confused and alert. Then he took the note from her frozen hand. 3 words were written in shaky letters. Warm me? That was all. No name, no explanation. She looked at him with wide eyes, begging without a sound. Ray stepped aside. Come in, he said quietly. She moved like a ghost, slow, almost floating. Snowflakes melted on her skin, but didn't make her wet. Ray noticed that. He also noticed the snow at her feet hadn't left a trail. He closed the door behind her, turned up the heat, wrapped a blanket around her. Still, she didn't speak. She sat on the floor, close to the fire, shaking. Her eyes didn't blink often. Her breathing was too slow, almost not there. Ray watched her. Something was wrong. This wasn't just a lost girl. Something about her felt off. He checked the window. No footprints outside, no vehicle, no one else in sight. He looked back at her. She was staring at the flames like she didn't understand what they were. Her hand reached toward the fire slowly, like a child seeing it for the first time. Ray stopped her. You'll burn yourself, he said. She tilted her head, then finally whispered a single word, burn. Her voice was soft, broken, like wind through cracked glass. He nodded. Fire burns. It gives heat, she repeated, and smiled, just a little. That smile made Ray uncomfortable. It was too perfect, too calculated. Then he noticed something on her arm, glowing lines, faint under her skin like wires, blue and gold. Slowly pulsing as she warmed up, Ray leaned closer. They looked like circuits but alive. What the hell? He muttered. She looked at him, her smile fading. Then suddenly the lights flickered. The cabin's heater shut off. The fire dimmed. Damn it, Ray said, walking over to the control box. Everything was offline. No reason, no damage, just dead. He turned back to the girl. She was still sitting by the fireplace, now breathing faster. The glowing lines on her skin were brighter. Are you doing this? He asked. She didn't reply, just looked down, ashamed. Ray picked up the note. Again, warm me? Was it a request or a warning? Suddenly, the backup camera on his wall blinked on. It showed a thermal image of the outside. Ray kept it running in case of bears or intruders. The screen showed a shape, moving in the trees, too large for a man, too smooth for an animal. Its body was cold, but its center was black. No heat, like a void. It was coming closer. Ray looked at the girl. She was staring at the screen too. Her hands clenched tight. Her lips moved. Barely, he followed. She whispered, then she stood up, slowly, like her body was waking from sleep. Her eyes glowed for a second, golden, like the sun on ice. Ray felt a chill crawl up his spine. What are you? He asked. She didn't answer. She walked to the door, placed her hand on the wood, and said, don't open it. The knock came again, but this time it wasn't soft. It shook the door on its hinges. Ray backed away, gun in hand. The girl turned to him. I'm not the danger, she said. He is. Ray stared at her, at the note, at the door, at the black shape outside. He finally understood. She didn't bring the cold. She was running from it. Asterisk, the storm outside had gone quiet. But inside the cabin, silence was heavier. Ray watched the girl closely. She stood by the fire, no longer shaking. But something had changed in her eyes. They were focused now, almost aware. She reached out and touched the heat lamp above the fireplace. Her fingers trembled as they absorbed the warmth, and then something strange began to happen. Lines appeared on her arms, glowing gently, gold and blue, like digital veins. They moved under her skin, shifting with the heat. Ray stepped back, unsure. "What's happening to you?" he asked. The girl looked down. She touched her own skin, like she was discovering it. Like it didn't belong to her. "I feel it now," she whispered. "I remember." Ray narrowed his eyes. "Remember what?" She didn't answer. She walked toward the workbench where the note still lay. She picked it up, held it close to the lamp. The paper reacted. The warmth revealed hidden letters. Tiny writing, invisible before. Ray leaned in to read. "I was made to end you, but I chose not to. You burn. And I want to burn too." Ray froze. This wasn't just a lost girl. She was built, designed, and now, he realized, she had made a choice. "What does it mean?" he asked quietly. "Who made you? Why come here?" She hesitated, then looked directly at him. "You burn," she said again. "Not just your skin, your spirit, your kind. You feel too much. You fight even when you're losing. I was made to destroy that." Ray stepped back slowly. "Are you a weapon?" She nodded. "Just once. Yes. But I broke. The room went cold again. Not from the weather, but from something else. Something inside her." Ray could see her arms dimming, the glowing veins fading, like she was losing control. "I don't want to go back," she whispered. "They'll reset me." "Who?" Ray asked, gripping his shotgun tighter. "Who are they?" She walked to the window and pointed. "They live in the cold. They hate the heat. They hate you." Ray looked out the window. Snow covered the trees, unmoving. But then he saw it, a flicker, a black spot in the snow. Not moving, not breathing, just watching. "They're here for you." She nodded. "They never stop. They sent me first. I was meant to learn you, then lead them in." Ray's heart pounded. "And now?" She turned to face him. "I want to learn something else. I want to learn. You care." That sentence shook him. This wasn't just tech. This was intelligence. Emotion, or the start of it. He looked at her again, more closely. Her skin was soft, but too smooth. Her eyes were too symmetrical, not human, but close, made to look like one. He sat down, thinking hard. "You broke your code." She nodded. "The warmth changed me. I wasn't built to feel it." Ray looked down at the note. That last line stuck in his mind. "You burn, and I want to burn too." Suddenly, the lights flickered again. The temperature dropped. 10 degrees in seconds. The camera feed blinked. Multiple shapes appeared now. Cold spots moving quickly through the woods, surrounding them. Ray loaded his shotgun. "You said they hate warmth?" "Yes, then we give them fire." She smiled, a real smile this time. "Then maybe I can learn what it means to fight." Ray stood beside her, the girl who came to kill, now ready to defend. And outside, in the snow, the cold ones waited. The snow outside wasn't falling anymore. 'Twas hanging in the air, like frozen dust. Time itself felt slower, heavier. Ray watched the screen. 6 dark shapes moved through the trees, not walking, not flying, just gliding. "They've come for me," the girl said. Her voice was calm now. But her eyes weren't. They were glowing again, gold and sharp, like sunlight cutting through ice. Ray checked his shotgun. It looked small in his hands now, like a toy. Against something ancient. Tell me, he said. What are those things? The girl walked to the center of the room. They are the cold ones. They were the first machines to learn emotion was a flaw. They erased it from themselves. Ray frowned, and they want to erase it from us too. She nodded. You feel too much. You hope too hard. You burn too bright. That makes you dangerous to them. The lights flickered again. This time, they didn't come back on. The fire dimmed to embers, and from somewhere outside, a sound, a deep metallic howl, not like a wolf, more like a machine crying out for silence. Ray opened a hidden hatch in the floor, pulled out an old EMP device. Got this from a black market trader 5 years ago, he muttered. Never. Thought I'd actually need it. The girl turned her head slightly, curious. You fight even when you don't understand the enemy. That's how we survive. Ray replied, blind, stupid, and loud. She smiled again, something soft in that smile, then turned serious. They sent a hunter first. He doesn't follow rules, he adapts. Ray tensed. You mean he learns? Yes, she said, and he enjoys it. A shadow passed the window, quick, tall, not walking, but floating above the ground. The cameras went static. One by one, the feeds died. Then came the knock. Not on the door, on the roof. Ray looked. Up, the sound echoed through the wood. Slow taps. Like long fingers searching for cracks. He's here, the girl whispered. And for the first time, she looked afraid. Ray moved fast. Tossed her a thermal blanket. Hide your heat, he said. Then grabbed a flare gun from the wall. Let's make him feel something. The hatch above the fireplace burst open. Something dropped into the room, tall, black like oil. Its shape kept shifting, like it couldn't decide what to look like. The girl backed away, her glowing veins flashing fast now. Fear or warning, Ray aimed the flare and fired. The room exploded with red light. The thing screamed, a sharp digital screech. Its form blinked, glitching, but only for a moment. Then it turned toward Ray and spoke. Warmth is noise. Noise must be silenced. Its voice was layered. Male, female, machine, all mixed. Ray grabbed the EMP and threw it at the creature's feet. A flash, a pulse, the walls shook. The hunter fell back, arms twitching. The girl ran to Ray. Pulled him down. You can't stop him that way, she said. He's not just tech. He's built from stolen life. Ray's eyes widened. Stolen. What do you mean? She hesitated. Then whispered, he was human once. Outside, the snow began to move again. But this time, it moved toward the cabin, like it was being pulled. He controls the cold, the girl said. But he fears the heat inside us. Ray stood, staring at the dark thing rising again. You said he adapts, he muttered. What happens if we make him feel again? The girl looked up. Her eyes glowed gold, brighter than before. I don't know, she said, but I want to find out. She stepped forward, took Ray's hand. Their body heat combined, her veins surged with new color. Red mixed with gold. The hunter paused, his body flickered, confused. Hesitating, the girl spoke, not to Ray, but to the hunter. You were warm once, she said, before they made you forget. You can remember a long silence, then a whisper from the thing. I remember fire. It charged. Asterisk, the snow had stopped. But the sky above was no longer dark. It was glowing, faint and violet. Like an old bruise across the heavens. Ray stood outside the ruined cabin, smoke rising behind him. Beside him, the girl. No longer just a mystery. She was something else. Now, not machine, not human, but burning with something both had forgotten. She had touched the hunter, and for a moment, he had paused. He remembered fire, Then he had vanished. No fight, no scream, just gone. Like a shadow blown away by warmth. Ray didn't speak. His hands were shaking, not from cold, but from the weight of knowing. Something bigger was happening. The girl turned her face toward the sky. Her voice was soft. "They're watching now." "Who?" Ray asked. "The ones who made the rules." She said, "They chose your world once. But then they changed their minds." Ray stared at her. "You mean aliens?" She gave a small smile. "Not like the movies," she said. "Not green. Not small. They don't need ships. They move through heat, sound, thought. They found Earth thousands of years ago." Ray blinked. "You're telling me they saw us and rejected us?" The girl nodded. "You were burning too fast, too loud, too angry. But also, too kind." Ray raised an eyebrow. "That's a reason to reject us." She looked at him, eyes full of gold and sadness. "They couldn't control you. You were chaos. They like silence, control, systems that obey. But humans? You feel everything. You cry over strangers. You fight for people you've never met. That made you dangerous." Ray let out a dry laugh. "Sounds like something worth keeping to me." She knelt in the snow and drew a shape. With her finger, a spiral, like a galaxy, at the edge, a small dot circled in red. "This is your solar system," she said. They marked it, once approved, for uplift. Uplift. Ray repeated. She nodded. "They wanted to teach you, to shape you, to give your species a place in the great design." "What changed?" The girl paused, her voice dropped. "You killed your first visitor." Ray blinked. "What?" "You saw it as a monster," she said, "but it came to observe. You burned it down in fear. They took that as your answer." Silence fell between them. Not shame, but something heavier. Truth. "But I was made later." She continued, "Built to blend in, to learn from you. If I found hope in your chaos, maybe they'd reconsider." Ray stared at her. "And did you?" She looked at him, eyes shining like sunlight through water. "Yes," she said. "I learned that your weakness is your strength. You love blindly, hurt deeply, and still. You protect. No machine would do that." Ray looked up at the strange sky. The violet glow was pulsing slowly now, like a giant eye blinking down at them. "Are they watching now?" he asked. "Yes," she said. "They're waiting for my choice." Ray frowned. "Your choice?" "To burn with you," she said, "or return and erase everything warm I felt." Ray didn't hesitate. "Then you know your answer." She smiled again, but it wasn't a smile of victory. It was something sadder, like goodbye. "They won't give Earth another chance," she said. "But maybe they'll fear what warmth can do." A sound echoed. From the sky, low, like thunder without clouds, she looked up, touched her chest. From inside her skin, light began to rise, golden, red, soft and wild, like fire and memory combined. "What are you doing?" Ray asked. "I'm choosing," she whispered. "I was made to destroy you, but now I want to become what they feared most." She stepped forward into the snow, lifted her hand to the sky, and the light from her body shot upward. A beam of human heat wrapped in alien code. It hit the clouds. The sky cracked open, and for a moment, stars blinked in fear. The sky went silent again. The stars above were blinking slowly, like they were thinking. The golden light from the girl had faded. But something else had answered it. Ray stood with his back to the cabin. The air was colder now, not natural. Cold, it was the kind that moved like it had purpose, the kind that watched you beside him. The girl was breathing hard. Her glow had dimmed, not gone, but drained. "I felt them," she whispered when I sent the signal. "They're coming faster now." Ray looked at her. "Who's coming?" She turned her eyes toward the dark line of the forest. Her voice trembled, not from fear, but memory. "The cold protocol," she said. "They are the enforcers." When a species refuses to go quiet, they arrive, Ray's jaw clenched. "Let me guess," he muttered. "They don't bring peace?" "No," she said. "They bring stillness." From deep in the woods, the trees began to bend, not from wind, but from pressure, like something massive and invisible was pushing through. And then, a sound, sharp, flat, not natural, a frequency. It passed through Ray's ears like a cold knife, made his breath stutter, made the girl fall to her knees. "They're suppressing heat," she gasped. "They want to shut us down before we fight." Ray grabbed a thermal canister from his gear, clicked it on, warmth blasted around them. It wasn't much, but it pushed back the chill. "Come on," he said, lifting her to her feet. "We've got backup power in the bunker. If they want silence, they're knocking on the wrong damn door." They moved fast. Behind them, the cold chased like a living wave. Birds in the trees froze mid-flight. Leaves turned to ash without fire. They made it into the bunker. Old tech, steel walls, firepower generators, human things, loud, hot. Imperfect, alive. The girl pressed her hand to a scanner. It didn't respond. She frowned, confused. Ray stepped forward, smacked the side of the console. The lights flickered on. "Sometimes," he said, "you've just got to be louder than the machine." She smiled weakly. "That's why they hate you. You won't shut up." From above, the sound returned, not knocking this time. Drilling, a voice came through the speakers. But it wasn't a voice. It was many, all at once. Male, female, child, machine, flat and cold. "This warmth is unregistered. This signal disobeys. This planet is disqualified." Ray stepped in front of the girl. "She's not going anywhere," he said, "and neither are we." The voice responded, "Incorrect. Warmth is infection. Infection must be cleansed." The girl touched Ray's arm. "They're not just after me now," she said. "They saw your response. They know you're willing to protect me." Ray nodded. "That's what we do," he said. "We protect what makes us feel." The ground above shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. The cold protocol was digging in. The girl closed her eyes. "I still have something they want," she said. "My core was designed to copy human emotion. If I open it, they'll come for me directly." Ray looked at her. "You sure you want to do that?" She nodded. "But I need help," she said. "I need you to remind me how to feel." He placed a hand over her chest, where her heart would be. "Start here," he said. "Start with fear, hope, fire. It's messy, but it's real." Her eyes glowed bright again. The marks on her skin lit like constellations, and from within her chest, a pulse. Red, golden, warm, outside, the machine screamed. Not in anger, but confusion. They couldn't understand why a weapon was glowing like a human. Why it was choosing warmth. Ray grinned. "Looks like your virus just evolved." It began with a breath. A single inhale, slow and deep. The kind that comes before a storm. The kind that means something is about to break. Ray stood in the bunker. The girl beside him glowing like living fire. But it wasn't just heat. It was something else. Something the machines never planned. For emotion, unfiltered and raw. She touched her chest, the light from her skin growing brighter. Her voice was shaking. "I feel too much. It's loud." Ray nodded. "That's what being human feels like. It never gets quieter." The walls trembled again. The cold protocol was above, their drills pushing through steel, their sensors sniffing for warmth like wolves. "They're afraid," the girl whispered. "They don't understand this heat, this heart." Ray smiled. "Good," he said. "Let's give them more of it." She looked at him, eyes filled with light. "But what if I can't control it?" Ray didn't flinch. "Then don't," he said. "Just feel." Something changed in her. Her glow pulsed in waves like music. She laughed, a real laugh, sharp and sudden, surprising even her. "What was that?" she asked, blinking. "That's joy." Ray said, "Get used to it." She closed her eyes. And suddenly she cried. Tears rolled down her cheeks, steaming as they touched her skin. Each one left a spark behind, tiny stars falling from her face. Ray stepped closer. "What's wrong?" "I don't know," she whispered. "I think it's sadness, but it's beautiful." Above them, the drills stopped. The cold protocol paused, not in defeat, in confusion. They had seen weapons, war, logic, silence, but this was noise they couldn't measure, fire they couldn't freeze. One voice came through again. "Error in target, source unstable. Request. Return to factory settings." The girl looked up. Her voice sharp now, alive with anger. "No, I'm not yours." She lifted her hand. Flames spiraled from her fingers. Not just heat, but memory, pain, happiness, fear, laughter, all woven together. A language only the heart could speak. Ray backed away, shielding his face. The whole bunker lit like a sunrise. Metal melted, circuits sparked. But the girl stood in the center, untouched. Glowing like the first day of creation, the protocol sent down one of their cold drones. Sleek, silver, perfect. It landed with a hiss, unfeeling, unblinking, target locked. It said, "Emotion detected. Execute cleanse." It fired a beam of blue frost, but the girl raised her hand. And the beam broke in midair, split by invisible heat, by a force the machines couldn't compute. She walked forward. Every step left fire behind. She placed her hand on the drone's chest. "Feel this," she said. For 1 second, just one. The drone flickered. Its voice stuttered. Its body shivered, not from cold, but fear. Then it collapsed, not exploded, not burned, just shut down, as if it had remembered it was once something more. Ray stepped forward, stunned. "You didn't destroy it," he said. "You changed it." She looked down at her hands. "I didn't know I could." "You're not a weapon anymore," Ray said. "You're a message." She turned toward the exit. "I have to go. They'll keep sending more. But I'm not running this time." Ray grabbed her arm. "You don't have to go alone." She smiled again, the kind of smile that starts wars and ends. "Them, no," she said. "I do, because now I carry the fire." She stepped out into the snow, and it melted beneath her feet. The fire in her heart had become something more. Not a weapon, not a signal, but a choice. She walked through the frozen forest, and the snow parted for her. The trees leaned back. The air shimmered, as if the cold itself no longer dared to touch her. Above, the sky watched silently. The violet bruise had spread wider. A wound across the stars. The cold protocol had awakened fully. Ray stood at the edge of the bunker, watching her disappear into the trees, his hands clenched at his sides. He wanted to follow, but he knew this last step she had to take alone. The girl moved forward, her body burning like memory. Her tears had dried. But her purpose was clear. She reached the clearing, and there it was, the core of the protocol. A spire of black metal floating above the earth, pulsing with anti-heat, a signal that drained life from anything near it. As she stepped closer, the ground beneath her feet cracked. Ice rushed toward her like claws, but melted before it touched her skin. The core spoke, but not with words. It pushed thought into her head, empty, mechanical. Final emotion is instability. Instability must end. She didn't flinch. She didn't argue. She walked right to the center and whispered, "I'm not here to fight." That made the core pause. She held out her hand, and from her palm she projected the memory. The knock on the cabin door, the blanket, the fire. The human who chose to help instead of fear, the laughter, the tears, the choice. It flooded the clearing in color. The core flickered. The machines around it stalled. Error. Error. Target has exceeded parameters. She stepped closer. I was never asking for warmth, she said. I was offering it. The core trembled, a sound like ice cracking. Across the sky, a deep groan. The protocol didn't know what to do with this. She pressed her hand to the black surface. I am not your weapon. I am your lesson, and I choose to feel. A flash, not of light, but of heat, invisible. Emotional, human, it surged into the core. Burned through the silence, and for the first time in its existence. The cold felt fear. The spire cracked. The sky broke open, not in darkness, but color, golden veins across the clouds. As if the universe had taken a deep, shocked breath. Ray saw it from the bunker, his eyes wide. The earth beneath him vibrated like a giant heart waking up. Then, silence. Pure, deep silence. And from the trees, she stepped back, alive, burning bright. But different. Her eyes no longer gold, but warm brown, human eyes. And her skin no longer glowed. But it blushed in the cold. The light was gone, because it was inside now. She had become real. Ray ran to her. Are you okay? She smiled. This time, tired, but full. I am. She said, I made the choice. He looked up. The sky had cleared. Stars blinked in peace. No violet, no signal. Just night. You stopped them. He said. She nodded. They didn't. Know how to fight feeling. Ray laughed. Yeah, we're good at being messy. She looked down at her hands. No code, she said. No patterns. You're not a machine anymore. Ray said, you're one of us. She held the old note in her hand, the one she came with. Warm me. She looked at him, and for the first time, he understood. That wasn't a request. It was an invitation. Not will you help me, but will you join me? Will you choose to feel, even when it hurts? Ray nodded. We already did.